So, all right. When you see a movie, what do you like to see that makes you come out of the theater and say, I really enjoyed that movie?
Me personally, you're asking me that question?
I'm asking you personally. It can be on the couch too, but just what are the items on the checklist for you that make you go, you know what? Yeah, I enjoyed that. I had a good time watching that one.
Number 1, Ryan Reynolds. Number 2, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Number 3, Gal Gadot.
I think I genuinely believe you on one of those. I think The Rock's presence might be enough to make it for you. I guess if it's a Fast and the Furious movie. No?
Oh my God, no. I got to tell you, if I'm being honest, The Rock, not a fan in this movie. We can get into it, but Ryan Reynolds is always good. And he's good in this too. Ryan Reynolds is fun in this. He doesn't have anything to do. He doesn't have any development, but he is fun in this. And I love Ryan Reynolds. And I don't think I've ever seen Ryan Reynolds and been like, oh, this is bad. But this movie did have me questioning what I think a good movie is, because this is not one. I also don't think this is, I'm not saying that this isn't a bad movie. This just isn't a good movie.
Right.
It's the most middle ground movie I've ever seen. This in my mind is a Steven Seagal movie. In the sense of, I remember being a kid coming out into the living room. My dad's reading the paper. He's got the lamp on, reading the newspaper, and the TV is on, and Steven Seagal is Under Siege or No Doubt or whatever, Last Man Stand, whatever the Steven Seagal movie is. And I watch it for 10 minutes. Then mom says dinner's ready. We turn it off. We sit at the table and I never think about that movie again. Somehow I've seen every Steven Seagal movie. I don't think I've ever set out to watch a Steven Seagal movie before, right? They're all blend together in my mind. It's all the same movie. This was that for me. I turned it on. I could have turned it off at any moment. I could have walked away at any moment. I could have just had it on in the background. This is just it's that caliber of movie. There's nothing surprising about it. There's nothing that would make me want to sit through it. I'm glad I didn't see it in the theater. This is an at-home. This is the definition of an at-home Sunday morning, like family-ish movie for me.
But,
Kevin.
But is it? I don't understand. I guess maybe it is family-ish. There are a lot of parts in this movie that seem like it might be a good starting point if no one's ever seen a movie before. So much is just spelled out to you in the plot and in the dialogue.
I want to get to that. But Kevin, to bounce your question back at you, what do you want from a great movie? Or what has you leaving a theater being like, that was a great movie. That was a good time.
I want to have enjoyed myself in some way. So I want to have been struck by the dialogue. I want there to be, some witty repartees or a really thought-provoking idea that was in there somewhere. Ideally, pie in the sky, something blows my mind. There's some kind of a twist that I didn't see coming. There are actors present that elevate the source material. There is good music. If there is an action set piece, it's not gratuitous. It serves a story purpose. These are all the things that do it for me. With a huge caveat of if it's just an action movie, I want set pieces on set pieces. This movie technically had most of those things. Right. I don't know that the dialogue was ever great, but I laughed one time.
I laughed a few times. Ryan Reynolds is funny, and he's doing the thing that Ryan Reynolds does, and he's good at it. And all the jokes he made about their friendship, I thought were so funny to me. Ryan Reynolds is basically acting like the audience a lot of the time, where he's like, there's no reason for us to be together. And me sitting watching the movie at home, I'm like, yeah, there's no reason for these guys to be together. And he refers to the main object as a MacGuffin. And I'm like, yeah, that's all this is. It's the kind of thing where they think they're being either these guys knew exactly what they were doing. Maybe I think Ryan Reynolds knew exactly what this movie was going to be. And yes. So I wouldn't be surprised if he improvised some of these lines and they stuck them in and they're like, oh, that's Ryan Reynolds being funny. But really it's Ryan Reynolds being like, I'm not an idiot. I understand the caliber of movie this is, but I don't know. I don't think Dwayne does. I don't think Dwayne knows what's going on in this.
Oh, I think they all took the fucking paycheck on this one.
This is a paycheck movie. Before we watched this movie, our buddy Mike Breen sent us both an article, I think from The Atlantic, that was basically why we don't know how to make action movies anymore. And they were specifically talking about this movie. And they were specifically calling out Dwayne Johnson's character in this movie as a flawless character. There is nothing interesting about his character. He has no character flaw. He has no redemptive quality. He's nothing. His one flaw is that he's flawless, right? Like he's perfect and he's uninteresting. And that got me. I kind of went down a rabbit hole. I read a couple other Atlantic pieces. They're talking about The Rock. I read one about how The Rock is always miscasts himself. And I think it's like the most accurate thing I've ever heard, right? Like The Rock, I've seen The Rock. The Rock, people don't remember. Dwayne Johnson at one point was The Rock. He was a professional wrestler and was the most electrifying man in entertainment. I've seen The Rock in person at WrestleMania. I'm telling you, when he walks in the room, it's the most exciting thing. Like he has the thing. You know, John Cena's got the thing. Like these guys walk in the room and you're like, holy shit, this guy's here. Everything has changed. Everything is different now that this person's here. And when he was on the top of his game in the WWE as a professional wrestler, he was doing one of two things. One, he was being an asshole or he was having fun. And if you think about all the times you've seen Dwayne Johnson on TV and you've been like, man, this is fun. I'm having a good time. He's either what? Being an asshole or he's having fun. And so Fast and Furious, he's being an asshole. He's coming in, he's kicking ass, he's talking shit, he's killing guys without looking at them. That's him in Fast and Furious, right? What else is he good in? I don't know. People like all these movies with Kevin Hart. At least he's having a little bit of fun in that, you know? In all these interviews, we see him on Instagram. We see him being interviewed for these movies. He's having fun. I haven't seen Jungle Cruise. I can tell you, he's not going to be good in Jungle Cruise because he's going to take it too seriously. But all these interviews with Emily Blunt, I'm like, this is the best guy in the world. You know why? Because he's having fun. He's friends with Emily Blunt. He's having a good time. For some reason, whenever he's in a movie like this, he refuses to be an asshole or to have fun. Do you think The Rock had any fun making this movie? I got to say no. Until the last 2 minutes of this movie, The Rock did not have a good time. He wasn't smiling at all. The whole time he's like, this sucks. This is hard. There's nothing fun about this movie. And he's not a dick. He's a nice guy. He's been great the whole time. He's not talking any shit. It's boring. The Rock keeps doing this. He keeps picking characters that are vanilla and aren't anything that he's good at and don't deliver to us any of the personality that makes The Rock the most electrifying man in the world. End of rant.
Now, do you think that's a money move? Because I'm thinking about the people that I know personally that are, they've kind of ascended the ranks of the corporate world. And it seems like it starts with someone who is genuinely, you know, nice and charismatic and a real down to earth person. And I think a core part of that, they always say that people that swear more are more trustworthy. There's a little bit of grit to them. You know, that's the kind of thing that makes me relate to a coworker is if I am working a little bit late and, you know, they come up and they just basically express like, yeah, this shit sucks, huh? It's like, yes, this person gets it. We're on the same page. This is a human being. This is not a corporate robot. This is a real person. Most of the people that I know that have turned into these like weird shills of themselves started off like that and then got known in the company for their charisma. And then on a corporate level, like at work, removed all of the parts of their personality that could potentially be seen as being, I don't know, gritty or like unprofessional in any way or anything less than completely 100% slavishly devoted to the well-being of our great company that we work for. And they end up these weird like shells of themselves where it's like, yeah, that's the person. They're up there on stage talking, but they're telling these like really fucking corny ass, like canned Oscar style jokes. Do you think this is basically just that The Rock has ascended to this level of celebrity where to be in the public eye as much as he is, he just has to be like this completely blank slate upon which people can project whatever they want?
I think that's an interesting question. I think he feels that he has to. But there's two angles of this, right? The Rock can either has fun or he's an asshole, right? The asshole thing, I get why he's scared of, because his personality is that he's not an asshole, which is why it's fun for him to be an asshole. It's fun to see him be a dick, and it's fun for him to like be cocky and like talking trash to people, because we know he's a really nice guy. That's part of the charm of it. But he could also just be like having a good time, and he doesn't. He likes playing like very serious guys. And like, why isn't he smiling in this movie? Why isn't he having fun? He could easily do that and still make a lot of money, because that's the Rock that we like so much. For some reason, like, I don't understand why he is so different on screen and off screen. It's like, it's baffling. You know, he does these interviews where he's very fun and amicable and making jokes and drinking tequila and like whatever. And then they start filming and he doesn't. I think he's a bad actor. I think ultimately it comes down to the fact that he is a bad actor. And there's one. I took some notes in this movie. I had to. I never do anymore when we're watching these. But like, this was so mediocre that I just kept tuning out. And I was like, I got to take some notes. At one point, he's like, look in my eyes. And I was like, they should not have said this, because the last place the audience should be looking is in The Rock's eyes. Because nothing reaches there. There's nothing there for us to see. He is a blank slate, and his emotions don't reach his eyes when he's on screen. But for some reason, when he's wrestling, when he's in interviews, very kind eyes, very wonderful eyes. But in this movie, it never reaches his eyes. You know, it's fascinating. It's genuinely his performance is fascinating. It's so vanilla and uninteresting for somebody who is, I'm telling you, genuinely one of the most electrifying people in the planet.
Oh, dude.
How is
Did
it
you
possible?
see the movie Fighting with My Family?
No, I can't believe I haven't seen it.
It's wonderful. So good. He makes like a maybe 2-minute cameo in that movie. He's barely in the movie. Again, electrifying. Like, but he's essentially playing himself. So it works.
What is he doing? He's having fun.
Yeah.
He's smiling. He cuts a promo for her, right? And he's like making jokes, and he's being a smart ass. He's just showing up and having a good time. And it's electrifying and it's incredible. But in this, he's not.
It reminds me of early Thor, where if you remember, like Thor 1, first Avengers kind of, and then Thor the Dark World, they're taking Thor very seriously. Chris Hemsworth isn't really allowed to shine. And then the big thing that they brought to the table with Thor Ragnarok is, what if Thor was just Chris Hemsworth? And then there you go. Suddenly the character's a lot of fun. With, again, the caveat that Chris Hemsworth is not as much fun as a person as The Rock, it seems like, according to, Instagram videos.
I think Chris Hemsworth is like a good guy, but that's like a Marvel thing, is like, I think that's like a Marvel thing, or something specifically that Marvel is very good at, which is like, I don't know, scrolling through TikTok, I see so many interviews with like Anthony Mackie just being a chill dude. And he's on every late night show making jokes. Sebastian Stan. It's just like, he's making jokes. They're making fun of each other. They're tickling each other. They're being friends. It's like, maybe it's all bullshit, but like, that's something that they go hard to show us. And in the movies, you're like, I don't know. I think these guys are having fun. I think Robert Downey Jr. is having fun when he's filming these, like,
for sure.
I don't know. I don't think Dwayne has fun with this stuff. It's weird. It's like, I don't know. He's fascinating because I love The Rock, and simultaneously like can't stand his performance he's to prepare for a role, right? Instead of taking acting classes or like, I don't know, getting in the mind of somebody, he just like works out harder. He's like, I'm preparing for Black Adam by getting more jacked than I've ever gotten before. And it's like, okay, cool. Did you read any of the comics? Did you know anything about the character? Have you consulted with anybody on like what it would take to like do this? It's like, no. I'm just going to get more and more jacked. And I think that's, I don't know, an interesting approach to this. I don't, if we're talking about his role specifically, there is really no reason for The Rock to be in this movie from a script standpoint, right? Like, he offers nothing of value script wise. This movie doesn't get made. This movie got made because it's The Rock is in a Netflix movie. Like, that's why they got a big budget for it. So they needed to. But him as a character doesn't need to exist. Ryan Reynolds is the driving force. Ryan Reynolds has the character flaws. Ryan Reynolds is trying to cope with the shadow of his father. Aside from the twist at the end involving The Rock The Rock doesn't do anything. His character is a profiler, which is some of the worst miscasting I've ever heard of in my life. Casting The Rock as somebody who's good at reading people is outlandish at best. Also,
Tim,
it's
that
the
was
one
the
thing
first time they tipped their hand. All your complaints, it all ties into the twist at the end of the movie. Of course, he doesn't look like a profiler. He's not a profiler. He doesn't work for the FBI at all. He's Gal Gadot's slam piece.
Yeah, and why? I guess he's just there to befriend Ryan Reynolds somehow, but he's also doesn't really try to befriend Ryan Reynolds. It's really just like, ultimately, it's just Ryan Reynolds is a good guy, and Ryan Reynolds isn't going to kill him. Doesn't want him to die.
If he tried too hard to befriend Ryan Reynolds would have seen right through that. It's Ryan Reynolds we're talking about here. It's Nolan Booth. Is that the character's name?
Maybe. Yeah. I know it's Booth something.
What a weird fucking... Yeah,
maybe that's it. Maybe it's all just the profiler thing. But you know who else is also good at reading people? Ryan Reynolds' character. Ryan Reynolds' character comes up with the plan. He reads people. He assesses the situation. He figures out what's going on. He comes up with all the schemes. The Rock is just there the entire time. He's just there. He's not having fun. He's not a good fighter. He's not good at anything. He doesn't do anything. Ryan Reynolds is an acrobat. He's good at fighting. He kicks ass. The Rock doesn't do anything in this movie.
But what if you take The Rock? I mean, this is essentially, subtract the twist at the end. This is essentially sold to us as a reluctant buddy movie between The Rock and Ryan Reynolds. If you take The Rock out, what kind of movie is there left? Would you prefer to see this as just like a Ryan Reynolds, here I am, quirky adventure?
We need to recast. The Rock. Okay.
So that's where I was like, I thought you were just pitching what if Lethal Weapon was just Murtaugh?
I'm saying this is like if Murtaugh didn't care, wasn't too old. He was just there. If Murtaugh the whole time was like, I'm a decent age for this. I'm not too old. I could be younger, but I could be older. And
I'm probably about a decade away from retirement.
This loose cannon is okay with me. I don't have any problems partnering up with this lunatic. He makes some good points. It's just like, it's a weird. So I was going to pitch you this new segment called Better or Worse, right?
Hit me.
Have you seen Shanghai Noon?
Oh, yeah.
Better or worse, this same script, we're replacing Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, Owen Wilson, Jackie Chan. Is this movie better?
Absolutely, it's better. No question, it's better.
Yes. That movie's so much. I'm like, this is the thing that we're missing is like chemistry between these guys and one character and like clear things, right? Like if Ryan Reynolds is the mouthpiece, we need the other guy to bring something to the table. And in that instance, it's like, that's why Jackie Chan is such a great, we don't have that guy anymore, right? Of like somebody who just like kicks ass, brings something cool and like physical to the table, and you partnering up with somebody who talks shit. And it's like a recipe for like a good movie. And you know what? Jackie Chan, also a better actor than The Rock. Jackie Chan is a great actor.
Oh my God, yeah. Absolutely.
Considering like the language barrier too. You look at the Jackie Chan's eyes, you know exactly what's going on. Jackie Chan is fucking legit. It's an insult to compare him to The Rock, but man, clearly better.
Oh my God, dude. I want to go back and watch Drunken Master again now.
This is my other recasting pitch, and I would love to hear if you have any other ones. Okay. Ryan Reynolds. I'm trying to think of other like people that it would be like exciting to see Ryan Reynolds with. Famous friends of Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds, let's partner him up. Better or worse, Hugh Jackman playing the Rock role.
Definitely better. Definitely better. But again, you've just selected a better actor than The Rock.
Sure.
It's like you're like,
I guess that's it.
Let's talk about our rec hockey league. What if we replace Breen Wayne Gretzky?
Okay, I was excited to see what hockey player you were going to name. I was like, Wayne Gretzky, the only other hockey player I know, too. I was like, man, does Kevin know more about hockey? Is Kevin about to drop some mad hockey knowledge?
I think the only reason Wayne Gretzky even came to mind is because on CBS Sunday Morning, like a month ago, they did an interview with he and his family.
Oh, there's going to be more.
That's it. Nope. Whole story. CBS Sunday Morning. Nice, tight, concise. Just wanted to drop CBS Sunday Morning in there. I'll watch it Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. It's for old people.
Okay. Here's my other here's my other pitch for my better or worse segment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Better or worse? Not talking recasting. Better or worse? This movie's PG-13. What if it was PG?
Huh. I think that would force them into a more lighthearted tone that I think would work really well. And that actually dovetails really nicely into the better or worse that I was going to ask you, despite not even knowing that this segment was going to be created. Better or worse, this movie stops trying to be like an action comedy and just is a comedy. Like, I'm talking, what if we swap out Gal Gadot, put in Aubrey Plaza? That kind of a tone to it.
I love it. I love it. Again, to bounce this right back at you, though, you're replacing a bad actor with a better actor.
I mean, yeah, that's totally
Gal Gadot,
fair.
Terrible actor. She's a terrible actress. And I will say this is maybe her best role. She's having fun doing this.
Dude,
She's
you're
having
down
a
on
good
Wonder
time.
Woman. First Wonder Woman's good.
Wonder Woman is trash.
Is a good
She's
movie.
bad in it. She's
We're just
good
gonna
in
have to agree
the
to
Fast and
disagree on
Furious.
that.
She's good in Batman vs Superman. The Wonder Woman movies are hot garbage, and she's bad at them.
First one was great. Second one, agree with you there, hot garbage. But I there were so many like tonal mismatches in this movie where I feel like it is that example of a genre mashup that doesn't quite nail either of the things. Like the scene in the end where Ryan Reynolds recruits them for one more job. If this is a movie like National Treasure or like, I can't really remember how Matchstick Men ended, but I think it was kind of a similar thing. If this is like a fun movie with like that kind of serious tone, that's a fun ending. That's like a cool ending because it's like, oh shit, he's back. They're going to do another job together. But it was like so weird. Part of it might just be egregious use of green screen in this movie. It's got to be a COVID thing because this is like the most expensive Netflix movie ever made, right? But like, I mean, so many shots in this just look so fucking weird. They looked like poorly photoshopped in. That scene was a big clash. The other one that stood out to me that could have been a lot better, there was a ton of meat on the bone for that torture scene where the dude from Silicon Valley is strangling The Rock, and we have it set up that, they're trying to go after his best friend or whatever, and they have no connection. Like, I think number one, I think you got to move that a little bit earlier in the script. So they really truly have like no connection to each other. And number two, I feel like there's a way to shoot that more like a comedy that makes it really pop and really, really, really funny.
Are they friends?
No, The Rock was lying to him the entire time.
At any point, did you think they were friends?
I thought that the movie wanted me to think that they were friends.
Yeah.
But I don't think the movie was good enough to make me think on my own that they were friends now.
Have you seen Lethal Weapon 2? How far have you gotten in Lethal Weapon?
I haven't. Just the first.
It's great. You're in for a treat. But by the end of Lethal Weapon 1, you were like, these guys share a very deep bond and a very deep connection. And, minor spoiler alert, Lethal Weapon 2, Mel Gibson's character is just doing laundry at Murtaugh's house like it's nobody's, like it's just, he does that all the time. He comes in there, he eats breakfast off plates.
You spoiled the laundry scene for me.
They're just like family. They are family by the start of the second one after being bonded so well from the first one. Like, and but that's the kind of thing that like, this is an old school movie. It's a dumb action movie, but they do the right thing so that there's character development and they actually bond. There's nothing. They tell us that these guys are friends. The whole joke is that these guys aren't friends, but they really are friends, except we don't see but they really are friends. They're not friends. It's just that ultimately Ryan Reynolds doesn't want to kill The Rock. That's it. Yeah. He's not friends. He's not like, oh, hey, Dwayne, let's split this. He's like, oh my God, The Rock drowned. I should probably prevent another man from drowning. Right? Like, oh my God, his balls are about to get shocked off his body. I should probably prevent him from getting his dick shocked off, like as any of us would probably do for another human being. There isn't like, oh my God, my friend I can't bear for my friend to go through. There's nothing there. There's no relationship there. It's weak. It's terrible.
If an acquaintance on the street is about to get their balls shocked off, I'm going to let it happen. I don't know that guy from Adam. Not my balls. Not my friend's balls. I got no connection to those balls. But Tim, if somebody was trying to shock your balls off, I would get in a lift right now and come down to Brooklyn.
Kevin, I would want you to call somebody else.
No, I'm coming, buddy. No time to call. I'm making one call to a lift and then I'm airplane mode. Coming to get you.
Kevin, if anything ever happens to me, please call someone else for help.
I'm making one call and one call only to your family to let them know that you're fine because I'm on the way.
Oh my God. I would love to see the PG version of this movie. Ryan Reynolds being PG, literally nothing changes. They shoot a million guns. No one gets shot in this movie.
Yeah.
Not a single person gets shot. There's no blood. There's no nothing. Like, I think if it was specifically PG and they were doing it for kids, The Rock has a little more fun. They're a little hammier. The stunts are a little goofier. Like the tone is a little lighter, and then I could like forgive it. Like I feel I would forgive it so much in this movie if it was PG. If it was for children, I'd be like, okay, this is a fun movie, but it's not. You want to get into some beefs and thieves, Kevin?
Absolutely.
Kevin, you got any beefs you want to go through?
Yeah. So, you know, we've danced around it a little bit. There's the reveal in the last, I don't know, 5-8 minutes of the movie that The Rock has been with Gal Gadot this entire time. Not allowed to do that. You can't do that. You just can't do it. Turns out this character that we've been invested in the entire movie is not who they've said they are. Can't do that. Not allowed. Even in, I feel like even in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, we had a little bit of primer on Barty Crouch Jr. We knew that he existed before the whole Mad-Eye Moody switch, right?
Yeah. I mean, in the book, he's a character.
Yeah. And it's kind of a thing too, because at the end of the day, there is a Mad-Eye Moody, and Mad-Eye Moody goes on to continue to be a character in the comics. Jesus. We've been doing too many nerd movies. He keeps going through the rest of the Harry Potter books and everything, and we see him again. But like, to just tell us that this version of The Rock that we've seen is just not real and has never been real and never will be real again. We don't know fucking anything about this guy. He's definitely not a profiler. He definitely doesn't work for the FBI. We know that much. Who the fuck is he?
So why doesn't that work? Because like, it should be a twist. I don't think it's like an insane twist on paper, right? Like the idea of them betraying each other or one of them not being who they said they were the whole time. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess they kind of pitch you on The Rock being the protagonist, but really Ryan Reynolds is the protagonist. Like Ryan Reynolds is the protagonist of this story. By the end, it's like clear he is. It's not clear at the beginning. It's not really clear during. What would it take for The Rock twist to make sense? Would it be just a diminished role for The Rock? Would it be more time spent with Ryan Reynolds? Would it be, I don't know. I'm trying to brainstorm how we could pull that off because it should work. There should be a way to do that.
Did it work for you?
No.
When you were watching it, do you like, okay, cool. Just had to make sure.
They cut to Ryan Reynolds and he's like, oh, fuck. I can't believe, like, I think they cut him off on the fuck like 5 times during the movie. Mm-hmm. Like, the only reason we know something is supposed to be a twist is because Ryan Reynolds is about to say the F word. And then when he finally says it when The Rock kisses her, and I'm just like, 0 chemistry with Gal Gadot. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's his body, just nothing. I don't believe that they're together. I was waiting for him to be like, you know, actually, I've been lying to you too. I was waiting for him to betray her for whatever reason, because I'm like, I don't buy this. I don't know how he would have convinced her that they've been like married for 10 years or whatever it was. But like, this can't be real. But yeah, it's not. I felt nothing, too. I was surprised, but I felt nothing.
I think that's one way to make it work for sure, is at the very end, like if there was somehow reveal after like Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds have like left, like they're not even there. And then the reveal is just to us, the audience, and not to them as characters. And we get to go like, oh, fuck, The Rock was double crossing them the whole time. Like, I feel like a version of that would work. There were, you can build into the character more too. They did the flashbacks of Ryan Reynolds realizing like, how did I not notice this? And then we saw flashbacks of scenes that we just straight up didn't see the first time. We saw like The Rock's little extended cuts, like when they're doing the fight in that trophy room and he says, I love you and all that kind of stuff. I didn't remember, was there in the scene after they were like tied up together underneath the bullfighting pit, did that really happen where The Rock got out of his handcuffs and Ryan Reynolds was like, how'd you get out of those?
Yeah, he asked, how'd you get out of it? And he said a bullet hit it.
Gotcha.
And Ryan Reynolds goes, oh, you hit something. I can't believe he actually hit something.
I think more of those moments, except kind of build it in to be like a character game for The Rock, is like things keep really conveniently going right for him. But ideally, this version of The Rock's character is also, you know, a great fighter and has like really great action scenes instead of just kind of sucking in this one.
I think maybe if, I don't know, maybe if Ryan Reynolds looks a little shittier. Is there something if we keep thinking that Ryan Reynolds is like a bad guy? Like I think they need to plant the seeds that somebody's a bad guy, right? Like if we got some hints that Ryan Reynolds was like actually a bad dude, then I think it would be surprising when The Rock betrayed him. I don't know. This is going to bother me.
That would be kind of cool if both of them, if we were basically given like plausible reason to believe that both of them were double crossing. Or yeah, if they just made Ryan Reynolds shadier and then at the end, Ryan Reynolds tried to double cross, but then was double crossed by The Rock again.
Yeah, it's weird. Or maybe if The Rock did something that actually let Gal Gadot go, you know, he gets a shot to take a shot at her and he doesn't, you know, she's falling off a cliff and he saves her. And it's like, some things like why, like if there were, I feel like it came out of absolutely nowhere. And speaking of coming out of nowhere, my biggest beef is the MacGuffin and the fact that it is a MacGuffin. It's referred to as a MacGuffin. They treat it like it's nothing. But they open the movie with like a weird film scroll where they're explaining the history of these eggs, which right away I'm like, these are so unimportant that it's not worth lines from the actor's mouth to explain to us what this is. There is a waste of our time. This MacGuffin doesn't matter at all. That's the message I received when the movie started. Because nothing they told us up top, we didn't learn later through dialogue, right?
Yeah.
And then to get the third egg, they allude all the time. How does Ryan Reynolds know this third egg? How does he know this third egg? 70 minutes into the movie, he's like, my dad gave me this compass when I was searching through his thing, and this is the key to the third egg. And it's like, cool, this is something I know at the beginning of the movie. This is something I should know immediately about Ryan Reynolds' character. I should see him fidgeting with this compass the whole time. I didn't see that. I don't know if you saw that. He should be fucking around with this compass. The Rock somebody should try and take it away from him. He kicks their ass. He grabs it back. We should be like, what's up with this compass? And then this compass reveals this, like everything just came out of nowhere. There was zero setup. There was zero building. There was no foreshadowing. They didn't build things. They didn't build a wall. They just painted the air, you know, it's so empty. Everything about this was empty. It's McDonald's. This movie's McDonald's. Yeah. It's you feel worse after, or you feel nothing.
This feels like a DVD that could have come in a Happy Meal.
Yeah. I mean, but then, God, I'm telling you, a PG version of this movie, 10 times better. That's what I think.
I think it'd be fun, man. Look at like this movie referenced Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark a couple times. Look how much fun that movie is. Like, what's the rating on that? I got to look up the rating on that. It's probably like PG.
I think that was a different time, right? Weren't movies getting PG there that probably should have been a little bit more. But I think
Jaws is rated movies. G or something insane. But
that was there was a weird time for movies, but
still it's whimsical. Like the fight scenes in that, and granted they're throwbacks to like old adventure serials that were made for kids. But I mean, there's Hollywood magic in the fun that's going on. the fight scenes are like tussles. There's like a fun theatricality about it. And I feel like the movies that do that the most now are like a really well made, like G movie, something like that.
100%. I think everyone in this movie is capable of acting in that way. I think like that needs to be the tone. That needs to be the tone for this movie is like, there's nothing cool or badass about this movie. So like, just make it a family movie. Like, why not? Like they would lose nothing for making this a family movie. There's nothing funny about it. All the best jokes work like normal. I mean, I don't know. What's your, want to wrap it up on thieves? Do you have any good thieves for this movie?
Oh my God. What did I like? There was one thing that made me laugh. I can't remember what it was.
Was it Ryan Reynolds lines? Because
it was Ryan Reynolds.
I specifically laughed at when they were in prison and he's like, don't tell anybody I'm a cop. And he stands up and tells everybody that he's a cop. And then the bad guy walks towards him and he's just like, Ryan Reynolds sits back down. He's like, okay, no one's moving. All quiet on the Western Front. I think we're fine. And the guy comes over and he's like, oh no, I think he's on to us. I was just like, God, this is great. Ryan Reynolds is so good, man. I just fucking love Ryan Reynolds. He's so funny. His delivery is awesome. I mean, he just keeps running back Deadpool now. I think everybody just wants him to do that. If he shows up in anything, he's Deadpool. And he's kind of always acted that way, but like, more than ever, they just need him to be quippy and, you know, I think he's a good actor, though. He's the best actor in this movie. Like he could.
Oh, my God. Bar none.
He could do so much more than his character does. And he could be an emotional person in this movie. But like, I don't know.
What a strange movie.
Did you have a thief? Do you have a thief at all?
I don't think I have a thief. Yeah, I don't think I have one. I just keep thinking about like, this really is like. This is middle of the line as a movie. This is like it's a perfect 5 out of 10. It's the dividing line between a good movie and a bad movie. It's like when you are between two states and you put one foot in one state and one foot in the other state. And like somewhere generally between your legs is where the state crossover is. This is where that movie is. If you keep zooming in on that line, it doesn't matter how many times you zoom in. This movie is still smack dab between the two things. It's fascinating.
It's an incredibly mediocre. You're right. It is absolutely fascinating how mediocre this movie is. My thief, aside from just general Ryan Reynolds joy and happiness, as always, might be the ending of the movie. And by ending of the movie, I mean the last 30 seconds where the three of them step out to do the next heist. And you see Ryan Reynolds, you see The Rock, you see Gal Gadot. They all walk in a frame together. And The Rock, what does he do? He fucking smiles. And he's like, this is going to be fun. And I'm like, and then the three of them walk off like they're about to do this heist. And I was like, damn, that looks like it'd be a fun movie.
I know. That's the one we want to see.
I was genuinely like, oh, look, now it's like The Rock's like, yeah, I just sat through a $200 million movie. Now we can have some fun. And I was like, fuck you, Dwayne. Fuck you for doing this to me. Why are you doing that? I wanted a smiling Dwayne Johnson robbing people this whole time. Like,
all the way.
It's just,
what a bummer, man.
Man, the three of them together goofing off and having fun and robbing people, I'm in for that movie. 100% I'm in on that movie.
So you would watch love to Red Notice 2.
I can't wait for Red Notice 2. You know, they're getting another one. This got so much hype. People watch this. They're definitely going to do another one. They made an Army of the Dead spin-off movie.
Yeah, they made an Army of the Dead prequel. That's what they're going to do to you on this. They're going to do another Dwayne Johnson prequel, and it's just going to be him. Like, it'll be Yellow Notice. It's just going to be him trying to get into character for this FBI profiler.
It's, God, I don't know. Why can't they just assemble a crew? Ryan Reynolds is in trouble. Dwayne assembles the crew to take it on. It's Dwayne, it's Gal Gadot, it's Ryan Reynolds. And then, you know, maybe some other people we recognize. You just get some like, whatever, like Tig Notaro tier characters to flush it out. Mm-hmm. And then they a heist, make a heist thing, you know? Or do an art thing, have each of them betray somebody during the thing, and then you got a movie. I don't know. There's a way to do this. They tease. They're such teases.
I'm there for it. I'd see that one. I would not recommend anybody watch this one.
No.
Unless you like are at a dentist office and they have Netflix on the TV in the dentist office. Like maybe then put it on. I don't know.
If you have some reading to catch up on, throw this movie on in the background, unwind a little bit, read the paper, look up occasionally. There's fun moments, but you're not missing anything. You literally you can turn that movie on or off at any point.
Dude, this is the perfect movie for when I graduated college. I was working from this like office park in Dublin, Ohio, like a suburb of Columbus, this just kind of like shitty little suburb. And I joined a gym that was across the street from the office I was working in, just because I figured out that it was about as much time to go to the gym after work as it was to leave immediately and get caught in the rush hour traffic. So I would go in there and I would get on the treadmill, and they had like a separate little like room set up for the treadmills where they had like a screen in front, like a big screen they would project a movie onto. And the movies they were playing were like Fast and the Furious 4, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, Cradle of Life. Like that kind of
Tomb Raider is a good example of that. Tomb Raider's right in this class.
What's the one where Harrison Ford didn't kill his wife?
Air Force One.
Yes. That caliber of movie. This one fits in perfectly.
Is that Air Force One? I don't know. I don't know what movie that is, but you're right. So. It's 100% that tier.
Air Force One of the Fugitive, but it's still,
It's a Harrison Ford action movie. It's Lara Croft Tomb Raider. It's exactly that caliber of movie. And it's like, it's fun. It's cool. I'm telling you, if you could watch it with your kids, this would be a huge movie. This movie would be gigantic.
But massive.
You can't. And you probably shouldn't listen to this podcast with your kids either, but I'd encourage you to download it for them anyway. Get your baby a cell phone, give us them sweet, sweet downloads.
Yeah, check us out on YouTube Kids. We snuck in. Nobody's been checking for us yet.
No,
probably got a lot of windows. Yeah.
They are coming for us. We got quote unquote red noticed on YouTube. So it'll only be a matter of time till we get a sequel. That's our show. I think that's our podcast. That's the episode.
Yeah, that's
cool. That's neat. Thank you guys so much for listening. That feels like enough. Tune in next time. Give us a rate and review. Let us know what you think we should do for other topics. We're thinking about doing more one-off things like our Nintendo Switch episode. So let us know if you want us to do any more deep dives like that. And that's it.
Bye.
Stay nerdy. Bye.